What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of SmackDown, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, as WWE are forced to discount WrestleMania tickets. Vince McMahon would never do this. A creepy fan strikes again. Triple H called out for a botch. People break into the abandoned WWE HQ. Is Booker T the worst wrestling announcer of all time? And much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Now, as always, we'll recap the show, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good is number 1, R-Truth breaks everyone on TV. R-Truth, as usual, brought the comedy to SmackDown in a segment that quickly went off the rails, well, in the best way. During a backstage segment, R-Truth and Damian Priest were in Nick Aldis' office when Kit Wilson stormed in, frustrated about the booking against Obafemi the previous week. While Kit Wilson provided a nice little poem, that's when Truth stepped in his own unique way. He mentioned that violets are blue and roses are red. Did y'all see last week when Oba put Kid on his head? Damian Priest just can't hide it anymore. He's breaking during every R-Truth segment, and we love it. Not only that, but Nick Aldis was shown laughing uncontrollably, and even Kit Wilson appeared to struggle to keep a straight face as Truth delivered the final line. It was classic R-Truth, absurd, off-script energy that caught everyone off guard. I didn't advance any major storylines, but it did add levity to the show and reminded fans why R-Truth remains one of WWE's most reliable comedic performers. Moments like this felt reminiscent of how he was often booked with longtime friend Vince McMahon. McMahon's presentation of Truth was built around segments that blurred the line between intentional comedy and genuine absurdity, always leading into Truth's timing and his confused persona. Right now, it does feel like Bruce Pritchard and Triple H may be tapping back into that same formula once again. Who knows, Vince could be on the phone to him every week. Number 2, Apollo is back. He may not have been on the winning side of the 10-man tag team match, but his return alone stood out. After what has felt like a long and quiet absence, it's simply great to see him back in the mix. Cruz's last main roster match before this came on January 24, 2025, when he actually defeated Johnny Gargano on SmackDown. Number 3, WWE has finally nailed Zelina Vega's presentation. Zelina Vega stepped into the Elimination Chamber qualifier against Alexa Bliss and Julia. Well, she didn't advance, but that really wasn't the main takeaway. WWE have finally nailed her presentation. It's darker and more intense, walking out to root of all evil, the theme that is literally a husband. But the changes stood out immediately. It's marked a clear shift from her previous high-energy, colourful themes, and whilst the result may have not gone away, the presentation feels a lot more different. Number 4 is Aleister Black finally getting a serious run. Last week on SmackDown, Randy Orton punched his ticket to the men's elimination chamber by pinning Solo Sikoa. Black was also part of that match and ended up eating an RKO after missing the Black Mass. But this week, Black had something to say. In a video package, the former NXT champion took aim at Orton, and he even brought up the possibility of Cody Rhodes qualifying for the chamber, which actually ended up happening. And he questioned how far Orton might be willing to go for a WrestleMania title shot. It didn't feel like a throwaway line. Black and Orton have had brief backstage confrontations before last week's match, and with this latest promo, it could feel like WWE are lining something up for WrestleMania season. And here's what makes it interesting. Despite crossing paths in multi-man matches, Orton and Black have never had a televised singles bout. He's had notable feuds with The Miz and Damian Priest, but stepping into a full singles program with Orton would be a clear step up. Maybe this is what they should be booking for Mania. And Trick Williams destroys Sami Zayn in one single promo. Now, all it takes is one single promo to absolutely decimate a star, and Trick Williams did just that on this week. Trick will mention every single week you're moping around, you got sketches on your feet, you ain't comb your hair, your breath smelling like 10 pounds of bounce that ass. You're begging for another opportunity. You make me sick. Now, even though Sami Zayn had to be the victim here, we still can't help but feel that Trick Williams is going to be one of the biggest stars coming up. But that was a good what about the bad is number 1, Cody headlining WrestleMania again. Cody Rhodes is officially headed to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. After defeating Jacob Fatu and Sami Zayn in a high-stakes triple threat match on SmackDown, Rhodes has now punched his ticket to the men's chamber match. He now joins Orton and LA Knight at the end of the month, and the momentum is clearly back on his side. But this brings up a bigger question. Should he win? Since WrestleMania 38, Rhodes has lived almost exclusively in the main event scene. He's entered championship pictures immediately, completed his story, and by 2026 he's already a 2-time undisputed champion. For 4 years now, his narrative has revolved around the top prize, and if he wins the chamber, he jumps right back into that title picture. He's already headlined 3 consecutive Manias, all in championship matches, and at some point, the spotlight has to shift. WrestleMania season is usually where new stars are elevated, and this could be that moment. The problem is repetition here. A Rhodes vs Drew McIntyre program would be strong on paper, but it doesn't exactly scream anything wild or new. McIntyre has been circling the same group of top-tier names for months, and if WrestleMania 42 is all about momentum and evolution, maybe a fresher challenger might make more sense. Cody's had his moments now, multiple main events, championship reigns, redemption arcs, big stage victories. Maybe this year, someone else gets the chamber breakthrough. Number 2, lack of a creative follow-up. After Tama Tonga defeated Carmelo Hayes, the real talking point came after the bell. The Wyatt Six appeared in the crowd, surrounded by Fireflies, and once again, they just stood and stared. After last week's angle, where it seemed like the MFTs had been abducted, this didn't feel like a true follow-up many fans expected. If the Lantern represents Bray's legacy, why don't they attack and just take it back? There seems to be no urgency with the Wyatt Six. While it was cool to see Dexter Lumis's drawings again, as Ad Solo of a picture of his own head designed as a lantern, the Wyatt Six need more than just eerie visuals. They need consequences. Adding to that, acts like Uncle Howdy continue to make grand promises without delivering much. It's something fans are really noticing at this point. Are the Wyatt Six really building towards something meaningful, or is the momentum starting to fall? Number 3, is Tama Tonga just an NPC? Tama Tonga's WWE run has quietly become one of the more puzzling booking decisions of the past year. He signed last year in 2024 and officially debuted in June of 2025, and since then he's only wrestled about 10 televised matches. For someone positioned as a physically imposing enforcer and aligned with a high-profile faction, that number stands out. Other members of the group have regular opportunities to showcase themselves. Tama Tonga, meanwhile, has mostly stayed in the background as an NPC, despite having the size and presence to be featured more prominently. Hopefully WWE gives him a little more of a chance, but right now, he's just a background character. Number 4, where was Royce Keys? Royce Keys made noise at the 2026 Rumble as he entered at number 14 and wasted no time eliminating former world champion Damian Priest, which set a huge statement. Since then, Keys hasn't disappeared, but he hasn't exactly been front and center of the blue brand either. He's been seen backstage on Raw and even traveled to WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, where he was there to tape an episode of Stephanie McMahon's What's Your Story podcast. It's clear WWE wants to go all in on him, but all they had him do was wrestle a dark match on last night's SmackDown against Nathan Frazier. If WWE is going so much in with Royce Keys, why not back it up with a real on-screen follow-up? As we all know in wrestling, momentum doesn't last too long. Hopefully WWE doesn't waste it by keeping him off screen for so long. But that was the good, the bad. What about the downright ugly? As they've ruined Ilya. During the 10-man tag match, one small moment ended up sparking a much bigger debate. At one stage of the match, Ilya Dragunov unloaded his signature knife-edge chops on Tonga Loa. These strikes are usually described as some of the nastiest in wrestling, but this time again, they were no-sold. For someone like Dragunov, that matters. His entire in-ring identity is built around intensity and punishing offense. When the opponent no-sells his strikes, it changed the perception of him greatly. Over the past month, Dragunov has taken losses on SmackDown to Shinsuke, Sami Zayn, and Carmelo Hayes, along with defeats at house shows. And in Brock Lesnar no-selling the chops, and now a moment where his chops were shrugged off by Tonga Loa, some fans are starting to question whether WWE is cooled on the Mad Dragon sooner than expected. Apart from Cody qualifying for the men's Elimination Chamber match, there wasn't really anything special on this week's edition of the Blue Brand. Apart from killing Dragunov's chops, SmackDown was pretty average. What do you guys think of the Blue Brand this week? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at Triple H called out for a botch. A WWE Elimination Chamber is headed to the United Center in Chicago, serving as the final stop on the road to WrestleMania 42. To promote the show, Paul Levesque shared an official poster and called it a historic return. For the first time in over 30 years, WWE takes over United Center. WWE Elimination Chamber is live on February 28th on ESPN and Netflix. But that tweet immediately got fans talking. Fans quickly pointed out that WWE actually ran 2 non-televised live events at the United Center in 2018, pushing back on the idea that the company hadn't been there in 3 decades. Now, there is some context within this. As while WWE has held house shows at the venue in recent years, the last major televised event there was SummerSlam 1994, so technically Elimination Chamber 2026 would be the first premium live event over there in 30 years. The problem was the wording that Triple H used, especially the line, "For the first time in over 30 years, WWE takes over the United Center." It made it seem like WWE hadn't been in the building at all since the mid-90s, and that's not entirely accurate. Were fans too harsh on calling Triple H out? I'd say so. Next up, WrestleMania tickets have been heavily discounted. Now, if you're planning to attend WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas this April, now might be the time to move. Earlier this week, it was reported that WWE held an all-departments meeting on February 11th to discuss slower-than-expected ticket sales for WrestleMania 42. WrestleVotes Radio noted at the time that the prices would remain unchanged for the time being, but it hasn't taken WWE too long to slash those prices. Allegiant Stadium has now introduced a limited-time 25% discount on all WrestleMania 42 tickets. The promotion is being advertised as a holiday weekend offer with the promo code valid through February 16th. Now, according to WrestleTix, around 36,000 tickets have been distributed per night so far. That's roughly 10,000 behind last year's pace at the same time before WrestleMania 41, and that eventually climbed into the 56 to 60,000 range per night. While the discount may bring in new buyers, not everyone is celebrating. The top tier WrestleMania 42 package is reportedly priced at $37,500, and that includes the stage and walkout access, 5-day perks, and a reserve section for the kickoff party. With that 25% off, that's a serious drop, meaning that some fans are now getting premium access and a major discount. But Vince McMahon would have never done this. That's all great for the fans who are now getting a 25% off discount, but what about the fans who already paid full price? That's where frustration starts to build. And now Teddy Long weighed in on the debate on the Road Trip After Hours podcast, and he zoomed out to the bigger picture. He acknowledged that WWE has the financial power and brand strength to charge whatever they're charging, but for Teddy, the real issue isn't whether they can, it's whether they should. He pointed out that a lot of families are struggling right now. Jobs don't feel secure. Healthcare costs keep rising, even groceries aren't cheap anymore, and when money gets tight, priorities shift. Teddy's view was kinda simple: family comes first. Most parents are gonna focus on feeding and supporting their household before spending big money on entertainment. And because of that, he questioned why prices would be pushed so high during a tough economic period. He also compared the situation to Vince McMahon, saying he would never have done anything like this. Dave Meltzer also stepped in and reported in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the slower sales have also led to the entire WrestleMania card being re-evaluated. There are reportedly differing opinions within creative about the direction, including a lot of frustration. The decline in ticket sales was said to be the reason the entire card is being evaluated, combined with the many in creative having different opinions on direction. There was frustration because they had a game plan in place, and it was then changed to a new game plan, and now we could and likely will have other changes. One person involved noted that at this point, they really should be sticking to the plans because the plans are good. Meltzer also noted that as of late January, Brock Lesnar was internally listed to face LA Knight, despite the Royal Rumble tease involving Obafemi. I guess Triple H didn't take too kindly to those anti-MAGA posts that LA Knight was reposting. This boy may be going to Suplex City. Next up, a creepy fan strikes again. Saraya, formerly known as Paige, may not be wrestling right now, but she's still making headlines, and as usual, she's not holding back. Recently, she hyped up her appearance in Houston for Wrestleverse by posting a video clip, and one fan replied, "Can I kiss you?" Saraya was not playing around, and she simply responded, "No." And that moment comes just weeks after Saraya opened up on the Rule Breakers podcast about being physically harassed at a signing in Chicago. She said she was eventually given a security guard, but made it clear the issue goes beyond one incident.
Just this past weekend, in Chicago.
Yeah.
A fan decided he wanted to slap my ass 3 times in a row because he thought it was funny. But security didn't do a thing. That's
insane.
They end up coming up to me afterwards and was like, "Do you want us to escort him out?" and whatever the case is. But it was already nearly done. You know what I mean? It was just like, it's too late in the day.
They shouldn't be putting that on you.
Yeah, but they did give me a security guard in the end, and he was great, which is fine. But the fans are getting way too comfortable, and this is the second time this year that a fan has touched me, tried to kiss me, and slapping my ass.
These are the type of fans that shouldn't be allowed any wrestlers at all. Next up, is Booker T the worst wrestling announcer? Now, there were huge negative reactions after WWE Hall of Famer Booker T was voted the worst television announcer at 2025 in the Wrestling Observer newsletter's annual awards. This sparked huge debate online as many fans and wrestling personalities strongly disagreed with the outcome and defended Booker T's commentary style. Booker T was voted miles ahead of people like Pat McAfee, Michael Cole, Vic Joseph, and Tony Schiavone. And even WWE panelist Sam Roberts would even fire back and defend Booker. This is insane. Booker's pure emotion, feelings, vibes. There's a list of NXT stars who came to the main roster with crowd response that have been guided by Booker T's NXT commentary. Wrestling equals feelings. That's Booker T. And just take for example Trick Williams' entrance, where Booker T would bump with the music. How can you call him the worst television announcer of 2025? Do you guys agree with that? And finally, a group of people break into the abandoned WWE HQ. It seems like a group of teenagers have broken into WWE's former headquarters known as Titan Towers in Stamford, Connecticut, and they filmed the whole ordeal. The video footage has gone viral on social media and shows them walking through empty offices, hallways, meeting rooms, and other areas that once served as a center of WWE's operations. There was graffiti on the walls, and even some merchandise left. It's crazy how they actually managed to get into the building and go just about everywhere, even the old WWE gym where the equipment has been abandoned. It definitely has a level of creepiness to it though. But there you have it folks, our look at SmackDown as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.